Are you nervous when you are leading a team that you just inherited? You are not alone. Many leaders, they come into a new organization, or if there's a structural change, or they're moved up the ladder to manage a team. All these are really normal for a new leader. Where they come into an organization inheriting team members that they didn't choose, but their predecessor did, and somehow you gotta manage this. It is like repairing an airplane mid-flight. Somehow, you gotta do it without crashing the plane and still get everyone moving forward and arriving at the same destination. When you inherit a team, it is normal to feel that people are sizing you up because they don't know you, whether you're capable as their leader. Some of their members will be probably pining for their old manager and nobody could replace their previous managers. Their mindset is so fixed, and probably you may get some supporters on your side who embrace the new leaders. And there will be some who will be on the fence, deciding whether they are going to accept you as their leader. But like it or not, you somehow have to move this team forward. To remember your role is there to support and motivate them and make most of the skills and the talents they have in a team. Recognize that the team that you inherited may feel anxious about the changes that are coming, your ways of leadership, what are your values, and whether they are in sync with you. And the key advice I would like to offer is learning how to trust your team members. Maybe their style of working is different from your previous organization that you manage. For example, in your previous organization, it is normal for you to just walk up there to your team members and talk about a particular problem. But in the new organization, things may not work the same way. Probably, they are not used to people walking up to their tables and just discussing an issue. Very focused in their work, and they do not like people disturbing when they are seriously working. So different cultures in different teams. You need to observe how the team work together. How do they communicate with each other in the team? Do they use email as a mode of communication, or do they use the chat tool to talk to each other whenever there's a problem, or do they call each other? So these are little minor things that you can observe the team chemistry within each other. Do they appear cordial and productive, or they are casual type of people, or they are tense and competitive? Do they always go to a specific person when there is a problem? The best way to do that is having a one-to-one session with all of them. This is the first place you need to start to understand them better. And in my one-to-ones, I like to break the ice by sharing my background, what I did in the past, tell a little bit about myself so that they know where I'm coming from. At the same time, I will also ask about their background, what they previously do, and I will ask what they are currently working on now, what the challenges they face, and what are the good parts and the successful moments they had in the team, and currently in the current strategy that was in place by the predecessor, what works well for the team, and what we can do better for the team. Were there any agreed topics that the team discussed together, or an agreed strategy where the team wanted to move ahead to? Ask these same questions over and over again with each and every one in the same team, so you can have a different variation or different point of view how the team looks at things in a different angle, a different perspective. From these one-to-one sessions, you can really gather a lot of information on the dynamics of the team. And from these one-to-ones, I would know which are the people who are really good with people management, stakeholder management. If they need someone to get mentoring, who do they most likely go to within the team? For people who are looking, for example, at new technology, at new innovations that are coming into the team, who is the best person to address that. And in an area of a specific division that many people may not be specializing in, who is the most knowledgeable in that area. And you are also able to tell within the juniors who is the next potential within the team to be the senior. To make it simple, I'll categorize it into these 6 qualities. The first one is competence, whether this person has the right technical expertise and experience to do this job effectively. Number 2, trustworthiness, whether this person can be relied on and be straight up with you and follow through the commitments that you agree together. And number 3 is energy, whether this person can bring in the right attitude for the job that isn't burnt out and isn't disengaged. And number 3 is the energy, whether this person, when you talk to them, you will know whether he brings the right attitude to the job or he's a person that couldn't care less. You would know in your conversations with the person. And number 4 is people skill. Does this person get well along with other team members? Is this person approachable or non-approachable? And number 5 is your priorities. Is this person able to set the priorities and stick to them instead of veering off in multiple directions whenever you give them multiple tasks to do? And number 6 is judgment. Whether this person is able to exercise good judgment, especially if they're under pressure or when they're faced with making sacrifices for the greater good. Here, you need to list down the percentages of where you think this person will fare better or will fare worse. And the total number of percentage will add up to 100%. And it's from here you'll be able to tell where the focus of this person is, and it helps you to identify how you would be able to manage this person, how will you be able to assign this person to specific assignments, or if you need him to do some advisory, who is the best person to assign for this task. Your assessment will be much faster and more accurate if you are able to explicitly state these criteria. Once they realize that you really care about them, you are able to have these open and constructive conversations. Are they happy, contented, and satisfied in their roles? This is very important to know their motivation at work. If you are seeing some members being really stale at their work, and they have been doing this task for the longest time and they are looking for the next exciting thing, then you need to take note of this and find opportunities where you can assign them with additional tasks that they can work on, where they can grow their skill set. And to understand if specific individuals are burnt out, is everyone looking for him? Is he overwhelmed with work? Can you do something to reduce the burden on his side? And the next thing as a leader is to really look for verbal and non-verbal cues. A person may be saying something, but the facial reaction, the facial suggestions, or the tonality of the conversation can be sarcastic, and you need to read between the lines whether there is a hidden meaning behind it. You need to understand what people say and what people don't say. Are they volunteering some information, and how do you extract it? Is there certain red flags that you need to look out for? You can see it by the words and the body language. It tells a lot of information of the person. If there's a mismatch between what they say and versus the tonality and their body language, then this needs to be addressed somehow. You got to figure out what's the best way to tackle it, and pay attention to topics that elicit strong emotions. What does not work for them? Where do they draw a line on certain topics that they are very sensitive about? Certain people need really clear instructions to be able to perform certain tasks where there are no gray lines, there are no assumptions. You probably need to make it very clear to certain people when you are distributing tasks. You will learn this along the way of working with them, and all this takes a little bit of time. After all these one-to-one session, the next thing is to